Keep up to date with the latest news and information from Propertymark.
Welcome to Propertymark, Paul. So we've been running for nearly half a year already, and this week has absolutely flown by. Let's lead with Scotland, where the Housing Scotland Bill was passed by MSPs on Tuesday, and it creates a pathway for a framework of rent controls across Scotland. So that in itself is massive news, but there was lots more as well. We also had the Labour Party conference take place in Liverpool. All eyes were set for a potential agenda regarding housing, but was there anything big mentioned? Well, I'll update you in a few seconds' time. In addition, we're going to talk about house prices in Northern Ireland rising at almost twice the pace of the rest of the UK. We also had Nationwide make public two reports of the last few days. Firstly, some research on property prices near railway stations, and secondly, their monthly house price index. Both have some really interesting angles. And finally, our own Housing Insight report brings some interesting numbers, and you'll find out in less than 5 minutes. So let's get into it all.
Propertymark.
In Scotland, the Housing Scotland Bill passed its final stages in Holyrood on Tuesday, and we're still in the process of analysing all the details in full. However, it does pave the way for a framework of rent controls across Scotland. The bill includes new rights for private rented sector tenants to ask to keep a pet, and also to make changes to a property they are renting. It also changes how joint private residential treaties can be ended. Propertymark will continue to make the case for a fairer tax regime for private landlords, with the Scottish Government currently reviewing elements of the land and buildings transaction tax. In addition, Propertymark will continue to advocate for balance and fairness for landlords against institutional investors. You can find further details at propertymark.co.uk.
We are Propertymark.
So Labour held their party conference between the 28th of September and 1st of October, with many people having a focus on what might be in the pipeline next regarding housing. We have heard hints across the year there may be stamp duty reform for those who live in England and Northern Ireland, plus many other rumblings too, none of which were mentioned specifically on stage at the event. However, Propertymark CEO Nathan Emerson and Head of Policy and Campaigns Timothy Douglas did meet with Secretary of State for Housing Steve Reid to discuss the positive role that Propertymark members will play in the UK government's housing and planning reforms. Steve Reid also unveiled further details regarding Labour's new towns plan, with 3 sites expected to be announced within this Parliament. We'll keep a close check on further announcements and details as they come, and you can always check the latest news section at propertymark.co.uk.
We are Propertymark.
So according to ONS figures, house prices across Northern Ireland are growing at around about double the pace compared to the rest of the UK, rising at 5.5% year on year. So why is this? NAEA Propertymark President Mary Lou Press was invited onto BBC Radio 4 Moneybox Live to share her thoughts.
Demand is outstripping supply. You have about 5 or 6 buyers per property, and they're literally bidding against each other. And the rentals are extremely high at the moment. You'd wonder why anyone would pay £1,500, £2,000 for a rent when they could get a mortgage for slightly less than that.
Mary Lou Press also caught the attention of national newspapers this week, including The Independent, The Daily Mail and The Sun, regarding research from Nationwide Building Society, stating that properties within 500 metres of a railway station can command a premium of over £10,000 outside London and a whopping £42,000 within the M25. As you can imagine, this got London talking, with Toby Leake being invited on BBC Radio London for a chat on the subject.
It's an astonishing amount, isn't it? 42,000. But does it surprise me? No, it doesn't, I'm afraid to say, because the benefits of being close to transport links and the reasons for it are plenty. Quite often our members are dealing with buyers that are moving for job relocations. Perhaps it's wanting to be closer to family. So the reasons that they want to be closer to these transport links are, quite emotional. And £42,000 is a lot, but actually being really close to your family and friends means a lot as well.
In addition, this week, Nationwide published their house price index, which showed house prices climbed 0.5% month on month and 2.2% year on year to an average of £271,995. However, most regions saw a slowing of house price growth overall, with East Anglia, the South West and London delivering the lowest annual percentage change for Q3 this year. Let us know what you think. Drop an email to studio@propertymark.co.uk.
Propertymark.
Propertymark's own Housing Insight report always brings some interesting sector statistics. The latest report, covering August 2025, told us there were around about 12.3 homes placed for sale on average per member branch across the month. It also said that stock levels remained near static month on month, with an average of 44 properties available per member branch. For lettings, the average number of registrations per member branch jumped to an average of 109 across August 2025, and demand continues to outstrip supply, with the average number of applicants per member branch sitting at just over 8 people for every available property across August 2025. Now, it's always interesting to hear what you say. Please drop us a line, studio@propertymark.co.uk, and we'd love to have you talking about it.
For more details, check propertymark.co.uk.
So as always, we'll be keeping a really close eye on the housing sector as we head further into the autumn months, and it's not going to really slow down, that's for sure. The renters' rights bill will certainly be top of the conversation over the coming weeks. It's also the Conservative Party conference from the 5th to the 8th of October, and we'll keep a really keen eye on what is said regarding housing. And the next Propertymark regional conference in association with Rightmove heads to Kent. As always, you can hop online to propertymark.co.uk to book your place. And thank you for listening. We're back on the 17th of October for a full rundown.